Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am back building for the Wizarding World save file that I want to finish someday. I know it's gonna be a big project, but I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to find out whether I could stick with it. And of course, I think it's a lovely idea. Otherwise I wouldn't do it, would I? And today I'm making a library, and I decided to make it in the shape of an R for Ravenclaw. So yeah, that's what I'm essentially building at the moment. So I already have a shell, and now I want to make the whole essentially of the R with the stairs and the roof I want to do as a glass roof so you can look down essentially. And yeah, that was essentially the top view, but then I decided that the right bottom part of the R was a little bit too small, so I changed that, and then I was quite happy with how the R looked. But of course that required some fiddling to make work, especially with all the different levels I have. And now you can see that I skipped a lot of what I did. So the outside part, I did some fountains to fill the lot a little more, and then I also did a porch for the lot. Only in the first level there is an outside porch essentially where people can walk in, and then where I'm building now is a cafeteria, or it's supposed to be a cafeteria for the lot, for the library, so people can also eat and drink something. Of course, I don't have any packs that would allow me to actually create a cafeteria, or a restaurant, but I think the illusion is also quite good to do. Now I'm doing another fountain there and some more tables and chairs outside, so people have a lot of opportunities to go outside and eat and drink. I skipped again a little bit because the fountains were quite long to do, and I didn't want to bore you with it. And now I'm doing first I changed the lighting, and then I'm doing some terrain painting, some stones with the grass underneath the chairs outside. And the next thing, I think I did more of the outside, so I did some play equipment for the children, and then I did some more of the fountain. Now you can see how I did the fountain, so those things in the middle at least. And then I did the landscaping. I think I cut out most of it again, just because it was so time consuming. And now I'm doing the front because I left the build on the ground before to do the landscaping. So now I'm just raising up the build and putting in stairs, or I did that at least. Now I put in front door as well, and this area will be for the library as a group work part, so people can work in groups here, so I did some tables where 4 or 3 people can be seated. And this area is the play area where you can play chess or the card game, because we need chess tables in library, so of course I put some in. And then back here I wanted to do presentation or group work rooms where you aren't disturbed, so you are in a room for yourself. And that meant, of course, 2 rooms. More I couldn't fit in anymore, and I put in some windows there to let in some natural light. And here I put in a pin wall to mimic something to write on, so people can present it. And here I put in the flip chart equivalent, essentially. Now I'm in the 2nd floor, and here I put in a bathroom with 4 toilets I could fit, and I think 3 sinks or 4. I don't quite remember how many. I think 4. Yeah. Now you can only see 3, but later the right part I will change, and I could fit in 1 more here. You can see that. And then I put in a floor-length mirror as well, and of course I partitioned off the bathrooms, so the toilets. And in that part where I am right now, I wanted to do all the books, so I put in the bookcases, and you could see just now I wanted to do it this way first, but then I decided that would look odd and it wouldn't really fit. So I changed that, and now I'm putting in all those bookcases, and as you can see it took quite a long time, especially because I also used move objects to fiddle with it to make it actually back to back, because otherwise it's not really back to back, and I think it looks weird. And I decided that I would take that time to do that because I wanted to. And now that part that is empty in this floor, I decided it's the reading floor, or the reading part, so people could read. So I put in some lounge chairs, or some chairs essentially, and some of them are like 2 chairs that face each other, so people could like talk also. And in that corner it just wasn't possible to fit in 2, so I made it a lonely chair essentially. And yeah, I decided on the blue because Ravenclaw's color is blue, and also the brick that I chose is like brown, reddish brown, that reminds me a little bit of bronze. Of course I know that it's not actually bronze, but I couldn't find anything that mimics that color better, so I decided on that. And then yeah, I put some rugs down just so it would be more comfortable in that area. And I wanted to do some different rugs because otherwise it would be a little bit boring, especially because I chose the brown and beige color. And then I moved on to the top floor, and there I have some places where people can just work next to each other, but it's not a place where they are supposed to do group work. That's that part, and then this part is the actual single working part where people aren't supposed to talk at all. So I would close that off as well. And there are like places where there are single people at one table and there is no talking. So the silent area essentially. And here I have some more group tables, as well as some computers in that area, just so people could work on computers as well. And I hadn't realized that those desks that I was using weren't actually classified as desk in the game. So later I will change the desks to fulfill the requirement. And now I'm putting in the door and fiddling some more with that room so it fits in better. And yeah, then I moved on to flooring. I hadn't done any flooring yet, so I changed that. And of course in the bathroom there are tiles, and in the rest of the areas there is some wooden flooring. Then I changed the chairs downstairs in the cafeteria inside to have some cushions. And then I finally put in lights. I didn't before. I don't know why. You couldn't really see anything before, but I forgot. And it was actually bright enough for me, at least. So it was fine for me, but I realized that The Sims likes light. And here I put in a light per row, so you can actually see the different books that you want to read. And yeah, that was important, because otherwise the bookcases throw a lot of shadows, so it was important to do a light per row of books. And here I put in lights per workplace, and I decided to change the flooring in that silent room to carpet, because that is easier to work on silently. And here you can see that I changed the desks to fit the requirements. So I actually have desks and desk chairs. I could actually fit in more and more desks that way. And then I, of course, also put in some waste disposals, because that's also a requirement. At least one needs to be in the room, in the lot. And of course I went overboard and put in a lot more, because I actually have quite a large lot here. And I decided in the cafeteria there would be different waste disposals, and then they would be the same as outside. And the next thing is the roof. I changed the default concrete color to some bricks to match the bricks. Oh no, I changed it to some metal flooring. First I wanted to find a brick that matches, but I couldn't, so that's why I decided to use the metal flooring. And I actually think it looks quite good. And then I put in some kids' chairs in the reading area, so people could read to their kids as well. And I think it looks really cool there. And I think that swatch of the chair is actually really pretty. Yeah, and then I noticed that I could put in some desks or side tables in those corners, so people could put down the books for a second or something. And then I again went to the decorations tab, like I do every time I build, and started with the plants. I put plants in every corner that I think needed some plants, just because sometimes corners are a little empty, and I think the plants are good fillers, and also they make the build a little prettier, so it doesn't look as sad as it sometimes can look. And then I put them in, and I decided that I really liked the terracotta swatch of the plants, so I used that everywhere I could, and put in those plants. And yeah, of course that means that I needed to repeat the plants a lot, because of course I don't have all that many packs, so the selection is limited. And now I'm with the more decorations with the paintings, and I put some in, especially in the presentation or separated group work rooms. And of course, in every toilet there is some kind of painting as well, just to make the walls less bare. And now I'm putting in some decoration outside as well. And first I wanted to put in those bottles of alcohol, but then I decided it's a library, that doesn't make sense. And now I'm almost in the last tab of the or last category of the decorations tab, and putting in some soaps and pencil holders. And then I decided that I needed some tables where people could put books that they read, and the librarian will put them away, and that's what I did there. So it's only on the floor with the bookcases, but of course that does make sense because people would have to put them there later anyway. Yeah, and then I did the windows because I haven't done all that many windows, just the cafeteria has some, the rest of the build doesn't. And I cut that out mostly because it was so much fiddling. And I was essentially finished with the build, but then I noticed that, well, the structure can't really be supported like I did it. So I put in some columns everywhere that I thought needed it. Because otherwise I think it just wouldn't be structurally sound. And then another thing I wanted to change was the part in the staircases, because I wanted to put in some plants there. So that's what I did in the next part. So I went into the debug menu and found some plants that I like, and I put them there, so it looks a little prettier and a little, yeah, more put together. I don't know, I think it looks prettier, so that's why I did it. Yeah, and I think that is essentially it. So this was the video. I hope you enjoyed it and will like and subscribe, and also come back later for more, or watch any of the videos I've already uploaded. You can look at the build and download it from my gallery page. My ID is the same as my YouTube channel name, so TGG Sims. Have a great weekend and goodbye.